Hi, everyone. I'm Stephanie Greco, a proud premier partner of Awakenpedia. I'm also a Reiki master, an intuitive energy healer, a transformational life coach, a spiritual guide, and a hypnotherapist specializing in habit reversal, past life regression, and inner life regression. In my former life, for 25 years, I was a behavior analyst specializing in neurodiverse children, adolescents, and adults. But I had a spiritual awakening in 2020. And although I had had a lot of spiritual awakenings throughout my life, um, this one was very profound. This was different and it was very life changing, which brings me here today. And like so many of you who are on a spiritual journey that brought you to Awakenpedia, I'm going to be vulnerable for a minute and I'm going to share my story with you. Um, so, to give you a little bit of background before I jump into the awakening, I don't remember much of my childhood. I have fragmented memories, standing in a hallway, a white farmhouse. I don't remember my siblings. I don't remember friends. I don't remember holidays. For a long time, I made excuses as to why I didn't have memories. Maybe it was undiagnosed ADHD. Maybe it was just that I wasn't truly invested. Maybe it was normal not to have those kinds of memories. I never imagined what would come um, when my memory actually came back. So, with that being said, I've now been diagnosed with dissociative localized amnesia, which means that I didn't remember those things for a reason. My soul and my mind and my higher self were trying to protect me from memories. And so, to give you a little bit more background, too, um, I can remember my first full memory was at the age of 14. I was sitting on my living room couch. I was doing my homework. I could overhear my mom in the kitchen, and she was on the phone with somebody, and she sounded very frantic. And she came out of our kitchen, she slammed the phone down, came out. She had her purse and her keys, and she said, "I got to go get Ben." And she walked out the door. And I sat there very confused because I didn't know who Ben was. And a little while later, my mom walked in with a boy who was around my age. And I stood up and said, "Hi, you must be Ben. My name is Stephanie." And he looked at me with like this disgusted look. And he said, "Yeah, I know. I'm your cousin, dumbass." And I was left feeling really embarrassed and I was scared and confused because I had never seen this person ever in my life. No idea who they are. And from there, I started, when we would have family gatherings and things like that, I would constantly be asking my mom, whispering to her, like, "Who's that? Who's that? Who's that?" And she'd whisper me, "That's so and so, that's so and so." And I didn't know who they were. And again, like I made all these excuses, like, well, maybe they weren't around, like maybe, they were around, but I was playing with other kids in the family. Like I always made excuses. I didn't understand that there was something serious going on. So fast forward to 2020, I was living a great life. I had my dream job working with children and adolescents with autism and ADHD. It was my dream job. I had always wanted to be in the field of special education. I lived in a beautiful home with a pool and a tiki bar and a wood burning pizza oven. And I had a husband that absolutely adored me. Life was good. I was content. I was happy. And one day after work, I was sitting in the tiki bar with my husband and I was having a drink. And all of a sudden, this fragmented memory, and there's a couple of fragmented memories that I had, like standing in a hallway of a familiar home. standing in a bathroom in a familiar home, seeing a white farmhouse that I wasn't really sure of whose that was or what that was. But I didn't have memories of my sisters, my friends, family holidays. I had these fragments that I couldn't piece together and really understand what they were. And I was sitting in my tiki bar and I was having a drink, and all of a sudden the image of me standing in the hallway came up. And with that, the rest of the memory came. And it was not a good memory. And I was a little taken aback and kind of like, what was that? And so my husband kind of looked at my face and said, what's wrong? And I said, I just had this really weird memory or flashback, and I'm not really sure what to do with it. A couple minutes later, another one popped up of the white farmhouse. And it was like watching an old movie, and all of the pieces, all of the fragments came together. And it told a story that is absolutely heart-wrenching. And I'm not going to share those with you because of triggers for all of you. I'm going to save you the gory details. But it was devastating. And little by little, my entire memory came back as if my whole life was flashing before my eyes. It was just scene after scene after scene, and not just bad memories, but good memories too. So it was very interesting to me that it all came flooding back all at once. Um, it was it felt as if the ground was shaking beneath my feet. I was unstable. It felt like I was inside of a snow globe and someone was violently shaking it. I mean, my vision was blurry. Everything around me was shaking. And it was devastating. It was absolutely devastating. So whether some people call that the dark night of the soul, it was rock bottom for me, and it was scary. Um, and I went into kind of this downward spiral because I was filled with rage. I was filled with rage about what had happened to me, about the people that abused me, the people that didn't protect me. I wanted them to pay. I wanted them to pay with their lives. I was on a mission to destroy them all. Whether it be calling the district attorney's office and finding out the statute of limitations, plotting how I'm going to reveal this to my whole family. It got ugly. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, I could barely work. It consumed me. And then one day, in the midst of all of this, I dragged myself out of bed and I overheard my husband having a phone conversation with somebody, and he was sobbing. And he was so distraught because he didn't know how to help me. And in that moment, it was like a lightning bolt came and hit me. And I truly saw two paths that I could take. One was I could go down this path of revenge and destroy everybody that hurt me, which was also going to probably lead to my own death. Or I could take a path to healing. And in that path to healing, not only am I going to heal myself, I'm going to heal my husband, because our souls are connected. And what happens to me happens to him. And I understand. So I could take that path of healing, heal myself, heal others, and then potentially start healing the world. Because the more healed we are, the more educated we are, the more we take a stand in not being victims, but becoming warriors of surviving, the better this world is going to be, and the less is going, not let, sorry, stumbling on my words because this is unscripted. So stick with me for a second. But there's not going to be that foundation for abusers. The more we break the generational trauma, the more we take care of ourselves, the more we educate the next generation and make sure that they're healed from whatever distant things have happened, the world is going to be a better place. And that has become my mission for the last 5 years, is educating myself in how I can help others. How do I heal myself and how do I heal others? And it led me down a path to acceptance and commitment therapy, also known as ACT, which is amazing. It is rooted in behavioral analysis. It is not like traditional talk therapy. It is forward focus driven and rooted in connecting with your values and taking forward focus actions in choosing to behave and thrive in ways that are connected to your core values. So you're constantly at a choice point of, am I acting in a way that's aligned with my values, or am I making away moves? And so connecting with yourself, using yourself as context, learning how to ground yourself and stay in the present moment, because so often our anxiety, our depression, our fears, our scares, all of those things are either rooted in being stuck in the past and past traumas, or worrying about the future. And the reason why we worry about the future is because we're connected to those past traumas and past mistakes. And so we're worried about making those same things again. So I have worked very hard to get as much information as I can. So ACT literally saved my life. And then I started going deeper into spirituality and understanding all of that and our soul's purpose. You might have guessed, I've done past life regression, and this is not the first time my soul has chosen a path to help others with healing. And so while 25, for 25 years, I was working with children and adolescents and working towards healing them in certain aspects. I'm now working in that in a whole nother chapter, right? Now I'm focused in on trauma survivors, but not just trauma survivors, really anyone who's looking to just dive deep, who wants to heal their inner child, who wants to work towards their soul's purpose. That is my passion. That is who I am. It's deeply written in my soul. So I hope what you're getting from all of this is that I am a very compassionate person. I'm very empathetic. I'm also going to be a straight shooter, and I'm going to call you out on your bullshit if you're not invested in doing the work. Because unfortunately, I don't have a magic wand to make it all go away. It's going to take work. There's going to be uncomfortable moments. But that's another thing that so many of us have never learned how to do: emotional regulation, self-regulation. We've been taught to push our emotions down instead of being honest about what is happening. And what happens is that when we push our emotions down, it's kind of like pushing a beach ball underwater. What happens? Eventually you have to let go, and then it explodes. And when it explodes, we don't have control over it anymore, which causes a lot of consequences for us in a lot of different ways. So what I want to do is I want to invest in you and help you in order to deal with those emotions so that you can slowly let go of that control, that you can release that ball, release that pressure, so that you can live a meaningful and fulfilling life driven by your soul's purpose. That you don't have to be afraid to be your authentic self, that we're going to embrace that. We're going to embrace who you really are. And so that's going to give us a lot of freedom. It's going to give us freedom. There's no other way to explain it. And it's the most amazing feeling in the world, to have that freedom and not have fear of judgment, not have fear of what happened in the past, not have fear of what's going to happen in the future, but just to trust the present moment and what we have to give it all together. So if this resonates with you and you'd like to know more about my combination approach, because I do feel that that is the best way, is not to just book a Reiki session, not to just book a hypnosis therapist or session or a life coaching session, but really to use it all together in the moment. So because that, and that's what makes me stand out from other coaches, is that because I have that combination approach, when we're in a session, if you're having a moment where I'm like, you know what, this isn't a life coaching session right now, we should do Reiki. Or, you know what, you're doing something deep right now, maybe we need to schedule a hypnotherapy session. So that's the benefit of working with someone like me, is that I have so many tools in my treasure chest because I never stop learning, that there's never a moment. It's not a cookie cutter approach. It is what is happening in the moment intuitively. I'm going to be able to help you figure out what's the next step. And then we work together to make sure that that happens. So if you're interested, if that resonates with you, book a 30-minute free consultation with me so that we can make sure our energy aligns. And if our energy aligns, then we'll go forward and we'll schedule some sessions. And I do offer some package deals. And we'll be on that path to healing together. And that's a promise I make to you, is that you don't have to walk this journey alone. I'm going to be with you every step of the way. Even without a session booked, you will have access to me via messaging or emails, to where I can give you a little pep talk. I can guide you in between sessions if that's what you need. And that's my promise to you, because I want you to be better. I want you to heal. I want you to feel the joy that I have in my heart. I want to spread that love and kindness and energy across the world, because it's going to make the world a better place. It's going to let us all level up. And that's what this whole life is all about. So I look forward to meeting you. I look forward to taking this journey with you. If you have any questions, please reach out. Please book that 30-minute phone call and let's do this together. Have a great day.